Good evening, everyone. This is David with Bolivar Live. Well, we're down here in Port Bolivar, Texas, where a major fires broke out at a local shipyard. If you know where Laguna Harbor is, this is just on the west side, sort of butts up, I think, almost to their property here in Port Bolivar, Texas. And it looks like, if I remember right, it was a big cruiser, offshore cruiser that was in there, and don't know what happened. We were actually up in Crystal Beach and got word of the fire, so we thought we'd come down here. Now, I did see some other fire departments come in. I don't know if Crystal Beach came down here, fire department, or if High Island is involved with it, but I do know Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department is, and there's also, looks like, something on in the intercoastal. And so just wanted to let you know what was going on down here in Port Bolivar, Texas. This is probably as the crow flies from the ferry landing. I could actually see the smoke when I was coming out of Crystal Beach back down this direction. I live probably a mile from here in Port Bolivar, and I was coming back to the house whenever I heard about it. And so we thought we'd come down here and give y'all a view of what's happening down here. Now, these are all volunteer fire departments down here. And so I know when I passed the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department, their doors were open and they were gone. And I'm sure Crystal Beach is probably involved in this. This is a shipyard just to the west of Laguna Harbor. You can actually see it from Laguna Harbor, and the old, probably to the east of the old Shirley's Bait Camp. If some of you guys remember the old Shirley's Bait Camp that was down here. It doesn't look like there's any barges involved. It looks like it is on land, and so, and it looks like it's a big cabin cruiser or something. We're actually sitting back on the other side of Laguna Harbor shooting across the water because we don't want to get in the way of any of the emergency vehicles or anything, and you never know what's in the area and what could happen. I'm going to zoom in. It looks like it has spread a little bit, maybe to some other stuff in the shipyard, but I can tell you it's not getting any smaller. The little bit I sat here for about 5 minutes checking the internet and getting everything fired up so that we could bring you a live feed. And I know it hasn't gone down any in size, it looks like. So anyway, just wanted to let you see what was happening down here. I want to thank the Big Store for sponsoring this Bolivar live feed and everything that they do here in the community. We want to keep the Port Bolivar, Crystal Beach, and Highland volunteer fire departments in your thoughts and prayers as they battle this blaze in the shipyard. I know it's a busy area down here and probably hard to get to with a lot of equipment. Water, I don't know where the fire hydrants are from here, but I could see them putting water on it, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see exactly how big it is and what it is. It looks like part of the boat's starting to fall, probably where the top of it, the cabin was. Looks like it's starting to lean over a little bit. But anyway, we thought we'd give you a little view of what's happening in Port Bolivar, Texas tonight, and give you a feed on what's happening down here. And like I said, keep all the volunteer fire departments. I can see some spotlights probably from some tugs. I would imagine that the intercoastal may be shut down. I hadn't got any word on that yet, and so we'll try and find out and post it under the comments and let you know if the intercoastal's shut down or anything like that. But this is in Port Bolivar, Texas, at a local shipyard here. They do works on tugs and barge or tugboats, pleasure craft, and all kinds of stuff. There you can see it looks like a tugboat's going by now, has a spotlight on it. But this is on land, and from what I'm seeing, and hasn't spread to anything over the water. Sure hate to see this happen to anyone, because that was here comes some more fire equipment. Back behind me, I can see them coming in, and so it's probably Crystal Beach or Crystal Beach or High Island coming in, it looks like, coming down, going to the fire to help them fight some more. If they're having to use tanker water, it's going to be a hard blaze to fight. So anyway, like I said, we're in Port Bolivar, Texas. There's a major fire at one of the shipyards here. I don't know who owns it. We'll do some checking and maybe let you know tomorrow morning on what's going on here. But I can tell you, you can see the blaze isn't real high, but the smoke, I saw it when I was coming out of Crystal Beach to Port Bolivar. Could see the smoke in the sky, and it looks like a tug's going by the area that's on fire now. So the intercoastal probably isn't shut down, because I see some barge traffic going by. He's got his spotlight on. Let me see if I can pan around a little bit and catch him. There, you can't see him because it's dark out. But anyway, but we're in Port Bolivar, Texas, where a major fire's broken out at a local shipyard. I'll zoom back out a little bit so you can see how big it is. There you can see the light. I don't know if you can see reflections that may be under the banner here, but this is in Port Bolivar, Texas. Major fires broke out. We're not going to get any closer because I'm sure there's cutting torches and all kinds of bottles bottles sitting around, and we don't want to get in the way of one of those or of any of the emergency vehicles. So I can tell you they're bringing in more emergency vehicles, more fire departments. Look like they're getting involved with it. I've seen some coming down Loop 108. And so if you're in Crystal Beach heading towards the ferry, please watch out for emergency personnel coming to this. Please pull over and let them pass, because we definitely don't want this. Right now the wind looks like it's out of the south, and so everything's blowing back to the north, and the smoke's going back over up towards Smith Point probably. Let me see. This, Rebecca, this is in Port Bolivar, Texas, just to the north or to the west of Laguna Harbor. I'm reading some comments on here. Tiger and Tony, this is in Port Bolivar, Texas, at one of the shipyards. I'm not sure who owns it, and I don't want to put out any false information. We'll try and get some information on that. And Yes, Carla, it is bad. It looks like it's spreading over. Looks like they've got a crew boat or something in there, and it might be spreading over towards it. The big offshore boat, if I remember right, there was a big cabin cruiser in there type, and I think that's the one that caught on fire. I'm not positive, but I remember whenever I was out taking pictures a couple weeks ago that there had, and I'd seen it several times. There was a big cabin cruiser in there, big pleasure craft, and I believe that's the one that looks like it's on fire. I don't know if that's where it started, but I do know that is the one on fire. And it looks like there's a crew boat in there too that maybe it might be spreading over to. That it's going to be metal. The other one looked to be a fiberglass, and so hopefully there's no damage to anything else in there. But I can tell you, as big as it was, and like I said, it's gone over a little bit. Looks like it's burning down where it was, but I don't know what else is in there that's that could catch on fire. So for those of you that are just joining us, we're in Port Bolivar, Texas, not far from the ferry landing, probably a mile and a half across land. This is a shipyard that looks like something they were working on, caught on fire and is burning. And we're going to zoom in a little bit so you can maybe make out what it is. I know several fire departments are involved. I know the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department's involved. I saw some other emergency vehicles coming in, so I'm sure Crystal Beach and maybe Highland too has come down here to help the volunteer fire department. They're all volunteer fire departments, so please let's keep, all the volunteer firemen in your thoughts and prayers as they battle this blaze at a local shipyard. I did see a tug go by, so I don't think the intercoastal's closed down, but I'm not positive. But I can tell you this is on dry land. It's to the west of Kingston Beach. This is down right next to Laguna Harbor on the west side of Laguna Harbor. No, I know it's not at Port Bolivar Marine Service. Like I said, I'm not sure who has this yard here, um, but we'll try and find out and maybe get you some information later on. For those of you that are just joining us, this is in Port Bolivar, Texas. I know some people ask about the Battleship Texas. That's all the way across the bay in Galveston. This is on Bolivar Peninsula in Port Bolivar, Texas, a catty corner or across probably a mile or so from the lighthouse. This is on the intercoastal at a shipyard on the west side of Laguna Harbor, if you know where that subdivision is with the houses on the water. And it looks like it's getting a little smaller. I remember there was a big cabin cruiser, big offshore boat type in there when I was down doing some pictures around in the area. And that's what it looked like, but I'm not positive. We're across the water from it on the other side of Laguna Harbor, shooting across the water because we don't want to get in any of the way of the emergency vehicles. I do know Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department is here, and I saw other emergency vehicles coming in, so I'm sure Crystal Beach Volunteer Fire Department and maybe even Highland Volunteer Fire Department have come in to assist. These are all volunteer fire departments, but I can tell you, you won't find a harder group, harder working, and ones that are here to help anytime anyone needs anything than you will with these fire departments. They're phenomenal people. They've got some great training, and here comes another emergency vehicle, and so I know some other people are coming in to help, and I don't know, but they may be having to haul water. I'm not positive. But anyway, we just wanted to let you know what was going on. That is an ambulance. No, that's not an ambulance. That's looks like a brush truck that just went behind me. And so we're across the water from it over by the RV park over here, shooting through Laguna Harbor. And it doesn't look like none of the houses over here are any danger or anything. The wind's blowing out of the south, so the smoke's going back towards like the Smith Point area, and the flames are too. There is a radio tower over there, and I can't tell, it doesn't look like it's in any danger. But I can tell you looks like a crew boat or something next to it that it's working its way towards. And let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so that you can see. There, we're zoomed in about all the way we can right there. But you can see looks like a crew boat maybe right next to it. I'm texting some people back that are texting me, wanting to know some things. I haven't heard of any injuries. I haven't seen any ambulances come or go, but I'm sure there's one on standby down here. And like I said, these are volunteer fire departments, so please keep them in your thoughts and prayers now and tonight, that all of them return home safely. For those that have just joined us, This is in Port Bolivar, Texas, on the west side of Laguna Harbor, right on the intercoastal. This is on land. And from what it looked like, if I remember, there was a big cabin cruiser, big offshore boat in there, probably for repairs or refurbish. And that's what it looks like, but I'm not positive. It looks like there's maybe a crew boat or something that the flames are up against now. And so we'll see if we have any other information a little bit later on tonight, or we might be able to give you an update through a post tomorrow morning. It looks like now that the boat, the crew boat or whatever that is next to it, to the one that's on fire, has now caught on fire. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see if we can catch there you can see the front of it. We're zoomed in all the way, but it looks like it's now on fire and some more black smoke's billowing out. I can tell you probably all the volunteer fire departments on Bolivar are involved in this. I've seen when I came down from Crystal Beach, I saw emergency vehicles coming, and so if you're coming or in the Port Bolivar area or coming from Crystal Beach, please heed warning to any emergency personnel that are down here or coming this direction. I'm sure I know Crystal Beach is here, or pretty sure they're here, and may even High Island. And I don't know if they're having to haul water in or if they've got water there. I don't know if they can pump out of the intercoastal, because this is right on the intercoastal, and now it looks like, from what I'm seeing, whatever was next to it might have caught fire. The wind's blowing out of the south here, so this is going back up towards Smith Point, not blowing over Bolivar from what I can tell. Please keep all the volunteer fire departments in your thoughts and prayers this evening. That's the Port Bolivar, the Highland and the Crystal Beach Fire Departments. I'm sure they're all down here helping in any way they can. These are volunteer fire departments, but I can tell you these are the guys that are in these fire departments are trained. Um, they go out of their way anytime they're needed down here, and just a great group of people. For those of you that are just joining us or just came in, this is in Port Bolivar, Texas, on the west side of Laguna Harbor. The wind's blowing out of the south. It looks like the fire has spread to another item in the shipyard. It looks like the smoke's blowing back towards Smith Point from its east of the old Shirley's Bait Camp. Someone was asking in the comments, and it's east of there and west of Laguna Harbor. And so if you're anywhere around here, I'm sure you can see the smoke. I know when I was coming down from Crystal Beach, I could see the smoke from the lights in the background coming across the bay from like Texas City. I could see the smoke in the air, and it looks like now it's spread to another ship or crew boat. It looked like a crew boat maybe that was in there, and you can see the part of it is picked up now, and actually what caught on fire looks like it's going down quite a bit, but now it's spread. I did see a tug go by earlier, and so I'm not sure if the intercoastal shut down or not. I may turn my mic off and try and make a phone call and get some information for the Coast Guard. I'm sitting across on the other side of Laguna Harbor, is where we're filming this from. And like I said, it looks like it has spread to another ship over there. I've seen other emergency personnel come in, so I'm sure all the volunteer fire departments are involved with this evening. I would think, I'm pretty sure Crystal Beach is, and then Highland may even be down here because there was a lot of emergency personnel heading this way whenever I was leaving out of Crystal Beach coming down here. For those of you that are just joining us, I turned my mic off for a little bit. I got a phone call. This is in Port Bolivar, Texas. This is a shipyard on the west side of Laguna Harbor, east of the old Shirley's Bait Camp. If you know where the old Shirley's Bait Camp is or where Laguna is, it's right next to the canal, one of the canals that exits Laguna Harbor. We saw a tugboat come by earlier. This is on land. We saw a tugboat come by earlier, but we haven't seen anything pass recently. So I don't know if they've shut the intercoastal down yet. I tried to call some people I knew that would know and couldn't get hold of them. I do know that the Port Bolivar, the Crystal Beach, and probably the Highland Fire Departments are involved with this. We saw a lot of emergency personnel coming out of Crystal Beach, coming down here. This is in Port Bolivar, and the wind looks to be blowing out of the south, and so all the smoke's going back across the bay towards Smith Point from what we're seeing right now. We've been streaming it. It's been going on for quite a while. We're on about 36, 38 minutes, or 40 minutes now that we've been here live. And it looks like it spread to another item that was in the shipyard. What actually started, or it looked like where it started, has pretty well burnt down. But this has moved on to another ship. It actually looked like a crew boat or something that was in there maybe. But we're across on the we're on the south side of Laguna shooting back across. Doesn't look like any of the homes or anything over here are in the smoke or close by to where it could spread or anything. This is blowing back towards the intercoastal or Smith Point, if you know where that is. This is in Port Bolivar, Texas, on the intercoastal at a shipyard. It doesn't look like anything on the water is on fire. It looks like everything's inside the shipyard from what I've seen here. We haven't talked to anyone. We haven't seen any ambulances leave or come in, and so these are volunteer fire departments that are here. I can tell you these guys go out of their way to do everything possible for the community. Let's keep them, all the volunteer firemen and emergency personnel and anyone that was working maybe tonight in your thoughts and prayers. I'm going to turn the mic off for a little bit. they're saying they need water for the fire department. I'm going to see if I can find some for them real quick. I did just talk to Leanne, which is the fire chief's wife, and they need bottled water. If anyone's down in Crystal Beach or in Port Bolivar that has bottled water, don't take it to the location. Take it to the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department. There's a white pickup parked there, and they're going to come by and get anything that's in the back of it out. They do have a one of the paramedics that are there just watching everyone, and they'll be shuttling it back and forth. So if you're in Port Bolivar and you have any bottled water, it doesn't have to be cold, it just has to be wet. Please take to the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department. Leanne's truck is there. It's the white, I think it's a Chevy. It's got the escape room logo on the back tailgate. Please put it in uh, the back of the truck, or if anyone's there, let them know that you're dropping off water. This is probably going to go on for a while tonight, especially with hot spots, and they're running low on or almost out of bottled water. It may be a little cool out, but I can tell you those flames heat up. And so anyone that's down here on Bolivar Peninsula that wants to bring down a case or a 12-pack or anything you have of bottled water, please take to the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department. Do not come down to the scene. They're moving emergency vehicles around, and they want to keep everyone cleared out so they can get in and out with emergency personnel. So anyone that has bottled water, please take it to the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department. They're out or running out, and they've got all the volunteer fire departments are down here from my understanding. I saw some leaving out of Crystal Beach when I was coming down 107 or 108, the loop. I could see them coming down with their lights, and so I'm sure all the volunteer fire departments are here. Someone made a comment that there were some trucks coming across from Galveston. I don't know what they meant by that, but anyone with any bottled water that could drop some off at the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department in Port Bolivar. It's on Loop 108. Please drop off some. And the big store is closed already, or I would go up there and pick some up. And so they requested that if anyone had any water to bring it down. So I'm going to turn my mic off so I can get hold of some people and see if we can get them some water down here. Thank you, Alex. Just got a text from Alex over at West Canal Beach Buggies. Said that they've got 3 cases. They're heading down here now to Port Bolivar. And like I said, the request that the fire departments have made, if anyone has any bottled water, it doesn't have to be cold, just wet. Please bring to the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department. Do not bring it to the scene. They have emergency personnel that are going to go by there and pick some up. And so if anyone has any bottled water that could get it down to the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department, I know they're in bad need of it. It may be only 75 degrees, but I can tell you those flames are hot. And with 3 volunteer fire departments plus down here, they need some water. I can tell you they're probably going to be down here most of the night taking care of hot spots and stuff. And so anything will help if you have it. For those of you that have just joined us, we've been covering a fire at one of the shipyards here in Port Bolivar. They've requested water, bottled water. Anyone that has any bottled water, please don't take it to the scene. Take it to the Port Bolivar Volunteer